So hi, welcome to our podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
Anthony Martinez from Dark Divine.
And we have some questions to say about their upcoming album, Deadly Fun. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
The response has been good. People have been going on, I guess so, on Apple Music, I think it is. It we found out about it after the fact, but I guess it leaked the track list. So people have been predicting what certain songs are going to sound like based on the title, and it's been super fun.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Didn't get to hear the full record, but the singles thus far have been fucking bangers.
It's crazy, yeah.
Dude, it's the response for the singles have been great. The album is planning, I think we're releasing it September. Yeah. So hopefully that by that point, you know, the singles have marinated a little bit more.
Yeah.
People really have been enjoying them.
It feels like these songs are like a little bit more palatable for like a wider audience. It felt like the EP was a little bit more of like this niche, very like Halloween audience, and this is just very broad and like very just straight up metalcore, and it's clearly working for you guys, because holy shit, the year that you guys have had since we last spoke, fucking wild.
Mm-hmm.
It has been crazy. I will say the singles are definitely more mainstream, I guess, digestible.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was going for.
We got some goofy ones on the album. Don't worry.
Okay. All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we got some fun stuff, as well as the, you know, I guess they're called the radio songs.
Yeah.
So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
We kind of wanted to have the second album just be kind of an extension of the first album. Obviously, there's some radio songs on the first EP rather, not album. Deadly Fun just seemed like the next extension of Halloween Town, right? Like we were in the graveyard, now we're at a carnival, and I just kind of like all the carnival imagery. It's always just been a fun kind of thing for me. So
fair enough.
Fuck yeah, awesome.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
Yeah. So our producer Zach Jones had a huge hand in writing a couple of the tracks. We met him out in LA and we recorded some instrumentals based off of some demos that Jay had made. And that's usually how it starts, is Jay will have kind of a riff, like he'll make a pretty fleshed out demo, and then we'll go send it out to whatever producer we're working with. And then they'll throw on their, you know, touches and, you know, accoutrements here and there. And it just fleshes out the song a whole lot. We actually did have a lot of co-writing with our buddy Brian Kuznets from Fame on Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He helped write, obviously, Paper Crown, which he's on, and a couple of the couple of the other songs that are on the album as well.
Okay.
We just kind of sat down in a room with them and just fleshed stuff out. It was actually kind of a painful process, because I don't know if you've ever sat in a room and just like tried to make hits, but it doesn't usually go that smoothly.
It always blows my mind, like when we talk to people where like their day job is like songwriting, and like they just shit songs out. Like I don't have a musical bone in my body, so the fact that these people can write 3 or 4 songs in a day just fucking blows my mind.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Like 90% of what I write just comes to me when I'm ever at my day job, which I still have. There'll just be like verses here and there, or like a chorus every now and then just, I don't know how to just shit out gold records.
Yeah.
I'm not a golden goose.
maybe that comes with time. I'm not quite sure how those people do it, but
absolutely.
I'm curious as to, like, can you give us like a timeline of like when the writing process kind of started to when the album was done?
That's actually funny that you mentioned that. I actually got on my Snapchat. It does like memories from like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
A year ago, we actually were writing Paper Crown with Brian. So it really did. It's a lengthy process. That was kind of the first song. Like, we've had Paper Crown in the vault for a minute. We've only just now released it, but we had been playing it clear back in November of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we wanted to wait for it to be time to release that song. We just kept writing more and more songs that we liked the direction of.
Mm-hmm.
And we just wanted to wait for the right time to release kind of, you know, that track. But the process itself and the timeline of everything, it really is just kind of at the will of whoever's writing it, you know, whether that's Jay or me. You know, there's really no set timeline. There's obviously, they want to have the record out by a certain time, but songs happen when they want to happen. There's really no
absolutely
way to control it.
It seems like, you know, you mentioned a year ago you were working on Paper Crown, so it seems like the turnaround time on the album you guys didn't have to wait all that long in the grand scheme of things. Like we just talked to an artist that had to wait 2 or 3 fucking years to put their music out. So like a year is nothing compared to that.
No, yeah, and in that year, obviously I had co-writes with Brian Kuznets, and that kind of developed a nice artist relationship too. And in that time, you tour, you see what your audience is in comparison to other audiences that you play with. It's just a cool, like, all-encompassing experience over the course of that year. I feel like a year is a good time to really like analyze what your market value is and what your market actually is.
Yeah. And speaking on that, you guys really kind of just came flying out after Halloween Town with like just crazy touring off the bat, and you're about to go out with Black Veil Brides. Like, was there any sort of like anxiety going from like playing localish shows to just like guns blazing, full blown US touring?
So one of the benefits of Dark Divine is we've been in separate groups. Like, we've been in our own other local bands in the past. We all have come into this band with some experience. So like, I've been doing this since around 2018. But the band has only been around since I think it was 2021. So that off the bat, and plus I think having, the benefit of an online audience, that allowed us to kind of skip over the step of playing, you're at your local scene, playing your local bar, developing audience that way, because we already had sort of a fan base in multiple markets. So when famous last words hit us up for the tour, Jeremy Tolis, who was working at our label at the time, hooked us up with this opening slot. It just kind of built off of itself. We already had an established fan base in different states, and people are already there to listen to the music. So it was definitely nerve-wracking because I've played shows before this band, but I've never toured. It was definitely a learning curve, but it was a gratifying one. I think everything had its own like logistic growth. It feels natural. We didn't explode into this horizon that's too big for us, before we're ready. Yeah. I think everything has happened at a steady pace, and the tours are getting bigger, but it feels natural, like a natural progression.
And going out with a band like Famous Last Words is such a great first tour, because you can really learn how to tour from a band that's been doing it as long as they have.
Yes. Jeremy Tolis is one of these smart. He'll kill me for calling him Jeremy. JT. He's he's one of the smartest guys I think I've ever met. There was one point on that tour where I was kind of having like a little freak out, because it was only an 8-day run, but I had never been doing a show every night. With the exception of some off days, night after night away from home and living out of a van. And so he kind of sat me down at one point and we just kind of talked, and it was a really quintessential experience for me to be able to do this touring thing. I always think back to the conversation I had with him, where he just kind of grounded me, and it was just like, it was just a really good experience. He's a really cool dude.
And you were touching on the social media following that you guys have built. How have you kind of been able to balance the social media aspect of things along with the music side of things and not lose your mind doing it?
Well, that's kind of the trick in that. I mean, luckily the band has a team. We are signed to Thriller Records, and we have an awesome team with a product manager, a manager. We have people that do go online and look at all the trends and keep note of stuff. And we allocate all of those responsibilities to our team so that we can focus on mainly the music and the performance aspect of it. And it does help to have people like on a team that are dedicated to certain roles, so you don't have to like figure everything out. I feel like if that were the case, we'd all probably go insane for sure.
Yeah,
there's a 100%. Lot that goes into it.
Absolutely.
So what song off this album took the longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
I would say the one that took the longest is probably Terrifier. For some reason, it was tricky to write to. It was tricky to write to, but I definitely came across like a bridge and a chorus that I really ended up liking. I think I went through like 3 or 4 choruses before I found one that I actually liked. My favorite song on the album is definitely a song called Moving On. That one's going to be kind of a ballady song. Yeah, definitely. It's a really good track. I like the lyrical content because it's personal to me. yeah, I would say Moving On is my favorite.
Oh yeah, all right.
Oh yeah.
So how'd the track list for the album come about? Did you guys write the opener for the opener, closer bit closer? Did you shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
We definitely wanted to make Deadly Fun the title track, the opener, because it does have sort of like a little intro to it. I don't want to spoil anything, but it definitely has sort of an intro to it that feels like, you know, you're opening the curtains of a carnival, right? So we wanted to have that sort of atmospheric intro. As far as the order of the set list, it just kind of all fell by energy. Like it feels very natural listening to the track list like in order. I don't remember who put it all together, but we okayed it. It was the first rendition of the track list, and we were just like, yeah, it feels natural. It sounds natural.
Fair enough.
Just first try.
Just first try.
Nailed
as
it.
far
That's
as I
fucking
know.
crazy. Okay.
Sometimes I miss emails, but
All good, man.
Yeah. So would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this record?
I like pulling from personal experience, but I also like sort of dabbling in sort of fantasy stuff. You know, for example, on the EP, you'll have songs like The Fear that I definitely pull from my own mind from, but then you'll have a song like Halloween Town that's sort of cartoony and fun. I definitely like sort of that kind of amalgamation of serious songs that we can like actually take some meaning from, and then also just some fun songs that you can just kind of joke around with.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot more of that on this album.
All right. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should you do it in the car with friends, in dark with headphones on? Is workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
I definitely think that there's something on the album for a lot of different types of people. So I would say, listening parties are fun. I love doing listening parties. Definitely grab your friends and, pick your favorite track and, listen to it on repeat.
Hell yeah. All right.
Perfect. All right. So this one should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Deadly.
Okay. Damn.
Fun.
Okay.
Album.
No,
okay. I would say
I was about to say, like, we're not moving yet. Like, we're not moving on.
I always suck at these. You'd think singer I can pick words, but this album is really diverse. So I would say, I'll say diverse.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say diverse, serious, and fun, because I feel like those 3 words kind of do encompass, start to finish what it's about.
Absolutely.
Okay. Fuck yeah.
So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the album?
No, not really. I kind of want you, like, as a listener, just to sort of take your own meanings from songs. Obviously, I write serious songs about my own experiences, but I definitely don't want, a listener to try to pretend to be me in that headspace. You know what I mean? I want you to adopt a song to your own life.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely whatever headspace you're in while you're listening to it is probably how you were meant to listen to the song. So
fair enough. That makes sense.
Yeah, perfect. So are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments from the creation of this album, positive or negative?
I would say, so I struggle writing verses. I love writing hooks. I love writing choruses. Verses are always kind of a tricky thing, and that's sort of why we brought in a co-write. That's why we worked with Brian. He's a really good writer. He really is good at finding melodies that are like appealing to the ears, I guess you could say. Because I love challenging myself to try to find like a weird melody, but obviously that doesn't apply itself to the best song. It's good to have another voice in there. And also our producer Zach, he also had a huge part in writing a couple of these songs, and it's having other people involved in the writing process made it so much more gratifying, because you're shooting shit while you're writing stuff, you're having fun, you're making memories, and you're like just you're joking around and having fun while also creating something that you guys are equally as passionate and proud about. And then that moment where you sit back and you've actually done something. I remember on the song, it's called Hive Mind. We struggled to write the back half of this chorus. Probably it took us 6 hours or so, something stupid. A whole day was basically just sat in an Airbnb with our producer writing lyrics for this. And when we finally got when we finally locked in the chorus, we just sat back, just like slumped in our chairs, just feeling like we just ran a marathon, and it was just a really funny experience.
Oh my God.
With a song like that, what makes you guys like want to spend 6 hours on figuring it out, the back half of the song? Because like, you know, you're in this mode of like we're co-writing, and it's like we'll just shit songs out. So like, what was special about that song?
It was just we liked that instrumental so much. I feel like we wanted to not settle. You know, because we had a bunch of lyrics that were written over the course of those 6 hours. It wasn't just like we were finding the chorus. It was just we wanted to go through our options and make sure we were picking something that we wanted to put our stamp of approval on. So we just didn't want to settle.
That makes sense.
Awesome. And again, I just want to touch on you writing with Brian. When writing for Paper Crown, were you guys writing with his feature in mind, or was that just something that popped up just in the process?
I believe we were already going to have him feature on the track. We were gonna already have him feature on the track. So it was easy to write, stuff that he can sing, because I was sitting there right next to him, like, hey, what would you want to hear your voice do on this track? Right? I think as a vocalist, I could write songs for me, but it's hard to write songs for another vocalist who has his own tendencies, has his own like technique and stuff. So it was cool to have him right next to me, writing melodies and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking awesome.
For this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice? Oh,
beef jerky, all the way. And Tristan will back me up on that. That's kind of our thing, is beef jerky at the gas station and then coffee at the venue.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
That's that's a fun thing that we like to, because obviously touring gets very monotonous. It's very repetitive. You see the same, RV venue, sleep, green room, it all gets a lot very repetitive. So we like to try to break it up by getting coffee.
Yeah.
And this has sort of been our thing. Yeah,
at least they're separate. It's not the coffee with the beef jerky. I would be a little worried if that was it.
Oh, I mean, shoot, anything's possible.
Oh, maybe not that.
They're on tour, man. It's
yeah, no, it's slim pickings out here. We're trying to we need nutrition in any way we can.
Stay awake and you get the nutrition all in one go.
Yeah, protein. Packs. Exactly.
Yep. So on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
I'd say goulash, just because it's just sort of like whatever the hell you want in it. It's just sort of, we're just a whole bunch of different, goofy guys. And so we just kind of come together to be like every day is a different day, especially on tour. Obviously the act of touring itself is very repetitive, but every day is a different day with we're a bunch of crackheads. It's funny as fuck. Can I swear on here? Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you're good.
It's funny. It's funny as fuck.
Yeah,
and it's
let it fly, man. Let it fucking fly.
Exactly.
So for the last couple questions, we're going to shift away from music. So if you could be one animal for the rest of your life, what animal would you be and why?
Tristan likes to call me a ferret because on the RV I leave all my shit everywhere. So, so I guess I'll be a ferret just to legitimize his claim.
Oh my God. So if you could have lunch with any celebrity or artist, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Dead or alive? I would say I'd have lunch with Robin Williams.
Oh,
I feel like I love that guy. He's just that was the first celebrity death that kind of really like rocked my shit. I was like visibly taken aback when I heard that he died.
Yeah, that shit still hurts.
Yeah. Right.
And for this last question, boom, you're on a desert island. You can bring one movie, one album, and one person. Who and what are you bringing?
How would I play said album if I'm on an island?
I always say like a MP3 player. Like that's like the only fucking thing you have. Yeah.
I'll say the
long battery life.
That's true. So to maintain sanity on this island, I'll probably play. I'm gonna go the Disguise album from Motionless in White.
Oh yeah, it's a banger.
Second place would probably be the Death of Peace of Mind album.
Ooh.
That album is a fucking banger
Bad
too.
Omens.
Love both those bands.
But I would say top one would be definitely Disguise. Movie, I'm gonna have to go with Trick or Treat. That's been my all-time. Actually, I have I have this little guy.
Oh, that's so cute.
Like one of several. Like I have a vinyl of the soundtrack of Trick or Treat.
Oh.
And it's I would definitely say Trick or Treat is the movie I would bring. And then what was the third one?
Person.
I'd say our drummer Tristan. He keeps me sane a lot of time. I work with him, so we have the same day job, so it's nice to, you know, I would say I'd bring Tristan along.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Obviously, we are going on tour with Black Veil Brides in September and October. We are also going on tour with The Word Alive in August and September. I believe there's some September dates. And yeah, so tickets are up and available right now. We are currently going to be releasing an album very soon. We just recorded another music video for one of the singles, so that'll be coming out pretty soon. We have another single without a music video coming out. So just stay tuned for a whole bunch of Dark Divine content, and we hope to see you guys on the road.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
right.
Well, thank you for now. It's been Anthony from Dark Divine, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.